Hey, welcome to English 10 again. Here's our second video, and we're going to keep going with that same learning target. Students will be able to define a modern classroom and how English 10 will work this year. So you've got a couple more questions that you need to answer in your notes. And the first is, how am I going to keep track of when things are due? Since different people are going to be working on different things at different times, that can get a little bit confusing. But I want you to know that we do have ways to help you stay organized. And the main way is through the calendars we use. First of all, there's a visual calendar at the beginning of your packet, and it's also in the announcements that you'll see at the beginning of class every day and in Schoology anytime you open up Schoology. And I usually in Schoology will put a today is image so that you know exactly what day you're on. You don't even have to worry about that. And it's got all of the target deadlines on here. So the target deadlines are the suggested deadlines. You want to do your best to stay on track, on pace by completing mastery checks on the target deadline. You'll also notice on the second page of your packet, you'll have an objectives calendar that has the deadlines, but it also has all of the lesson names, the skills and standards we're going to be learning, the lesson objectives, and the different steps that you have to complete for each lesson in order to be able to take the mastery check. So use the visual calendar and the objectives calendar to know exactly what to do, when, and what you're learning as you complete the tasks. What are must-dos, should-dos, and aspire-to-dos? Well, these are tiered activities in the lessons, and they are what they sound they are. Must-dos absolutely have to be completed. Should-dos should be completed if you want a grade higher than a C. Aspire-to-dos, if you have time and if you really want to go for that A grade, do the aspire-to-dos. All of the steps in each lesson are marked either must do, should do, or aspire to do. And this will make sure that you are doing what we consider to be the most important work first. And if you do that most important work, you are able to take a mastery check and show mastery on it. The key, though, is the more should-dos and aspire-to-dos that you complete, the better your skills will be for that summative assessment at the end of the unit, and so you will be more likely to score higher than a C. The rule of thumb is if you just do must-dos, you'll probably get a C letter grade at the end of a unit. Grades are determined on by formative and summative assessments. And as I just said, the more activities you complete, the higher your grade, because the better you're going to do on that summative assessment. You need to show mastery on all mastery checks by the hard deadline, or you are ineligible for the summative assessment, and you won't be getting a passing grade. The mastery checks in the packet are the formative work in this class, and so those two things will give you 20% of your grade. And the mastery checks are worth twice as much as the packet. So most mastery checks are worth 10 points, and that means that all of the work in a lesson in the packet is just worth 5 points. So it's not a lot of points to do the packet, but what you'll find is the more in the packet you do, the higher you'll score on the mastery checks, and the higher you'll score on the summative assessment. The summative assessment itself is that assessment of learning what skills you have achieved by the end of a unit, and so that's worth 80%. It's worth the bulk of your grade. And a reminder that you're only eligible for that summative assessment if you show mastery on all mastery checks by the hard deadline. If you don't, your grade will turn to 50%. I don't give zeros. So your summative assessment score that you would be ineligible for if you don't finish the mastery checks by the hard deadline would turn to 50%. All right, let's talk about classroom. Oh, one more thing on grades. We do use criteria-based grading, and the criteria comes from MYP. And so MYP uses these 4 criteria: analyzing, organizing, producing text, and using language. So you'll see those on mastery checks and summative assessments. All right, moving on to course expectations, the classroom expectations. The first one is to use your time efficiently. You have to start to self-pace. You have to figure out how you're going to get your work done in a timely manner. Use the target deadlines to help you do that. The second is stay positive. We want you to be positive. Know that a positive environment is going to help you to be more productive, to use your time more efficiently. So stay positive. If you have a question, ask it, is the third expectation. 4, if you cause a problem, fix it. And 5 is be kind to others, especially if they don't deserve it. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Let's take a look at some examples. Use your time efficiently. Well, make a goal on your daily do now that you can finish during the class period and then finish it. Holding yourself accountable is the best way to use your time efficiently. How about an example of staying positive? Tell yourself, I can learn anything. It's true. And the more you tell yourself that, the more you'll believe it, and then the more you will do it. How about for if you have a question, ask it? Well, when you're confused, ask a classmate. We want you to be talking with each other. And if you're still confused, come to the teacher at, I'm calling it a hub now rather than a nest. How about for 5 or 4, if you cause a problem, fix it. You spill a water bottle, but you dry it up with paper towels after asking for some, so no biggie. And how about for the last one? Be kind to others, especially if they don't deserve it. Someone bumps into you and they don't even say anything. You ignore them or ask if they're okay instead of saying, excuse you. That is a way to be kind to others, right? Maybe you don't know what's going on with them. Maybe they have had the worst day of their life. So you take the higher road and always be kind first. So those are the classroom expectations in English 10 this year, and now you can move on to the next step of this lesson.